morning, zombies. Are we alive yet? Are we awake yet? Are we sleep deprived and emotionally screwed up? Or are we emotionally deprived and sleep screwed up? In the background, you're hearing MSNBC Morning Joe having a conniption fit. It's 4:28, by the way, West Coast time. It's the 6th of December, 2023 for Wednesday. Apparently, yesterday in the House of Representatives was community subcommittee grilling the top university presidents concerning about anti-Semitism, and they got the whole clip on C-SPAN. But just watching a little bit of just what happened, I'm like, okay. I thought the Republicans were going a little crazy at this point, and they wanted to find out if the hate speech is definitely considered out of bounds and against the policies of the colleges and the universities. Apparently, the university professors, actually the people in charge, you can call them that, were giving answers that the people that the GOP didn't like. We had Harvard, Penn, and MIT presidents up there getting grilled. Massachusetts of Technology, University of Pennsylvania, and Harvard. Yeah, they're still having a ball on this one. Concerning about the growing amount of anti-Semitism being on the campus. Keep wondering what about the Islamophobia as well. Now, don't get me wrong. Both of it's still idiotic anyway, having that kind of hatred towards another group. Simply put, because you listen to other people's misalignments left and right, what their opinions are, and you have to value them instead of your own. We're dealing with we're dealing with a hell of a lot of anger and hatred in our country and in ourselves. The reason why I kept taking so many classes of history and political science just understanding the engines. But the history is definitely needed because I needed to find out more context. We've had anger in ourselves, we had hatred for ourselves, even in our own holy books. We hated each other. We couldn't stand each other. One particular story and kept driving me crazy. I still hadn't researched it fully, and I should have. Is the Tower of Babel. Why the hell did God did this to us? I don't know. If it was him, or did we actually woke up and hit our, you know, got it dropped on the head and became brain damaged? Okay, according to Britannica, what they would consider it. And then I got to get over to Bible Gateway on that one for the Genesis version of it. But let's see. According to what? Oh, here we go. Something. Trying to get in there. My system's not exactly being its most cooperative right now. This is not the easiest thing for us to get into, I'll tell you that much. Because we're dealing with conflicts within ourselves that we can't even figure out. Now, I know we tried to build a tower that's supposed to be greater than God and everything else going on, but are we really understanding what the hell we're dealing with? Okay, here we go. Britannica, Tower of Babel. Mm, trying to get into. Okay. Okay, according to what they're saying in the Bible, biblical literature, structure built in the land of Shinar, which is Babylonia, sometime after the deluge, flood. The story of its construction, given to Genesis 11 1 through 9, appears to be an attempt to explain the existence of diverse human languages. According to Genesis, the Babylonians want to make a name for themselves by building a mighty city and a tower with its top in the heavens. God disrupted the work so by confusing the language of the workers so they no longer understand one another. The city was never completed and the people were dispersed over the face of the earth. Myth may have been inspired by the Babylonian Tower Temple north of the Marduk Temple, in which, and I'm reading this off of Britannica.com on this one, in which Babylonian was called Babalu, which is the gate of God, Hebrew form of Babel, or Bavel, or Babel, however you want to pronounce it. B-A-V is in Victor E-L. So, similarity in the pronunciation of Babel and Balel, to confuse, led to the play of words in Genesis 11, chapter 11, verse 9. Therefore, its name was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of all the earth. Oh, ain't that nice? God getting pissed off at humanity for something that they were doing on. Unless, of course, we actually had an issue over something here. And, of course, my system is freezing up on again itself. What else is new? See, this is the thing I don't understand. Why? I don't get it either. So, I got Mytholonia. Let's see if we get into the Bible Gateway here. What the text would say in our own re-engineered version of the Bible. Okay, Bible Gateway, Genesis 11, verses 1 through 9. And the whole world had one language and one common speech. As people moved eastward, they found a plain in Shinar and settled there, basically Babylonian, as some people would call it anyway. They said to each other, "Come, let's make bricks and bake them thoroughly." So they used bricks instead of stone and tar for mortar. And they said, "Come, let's build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens so we may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise, we will be scattered over the face of the whole earth." Good Lord. But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower the people were building. The Lord said, "If as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Come, let's go down and confuse their language so they will not understand each other." This is what I never could understand in the first place. So the Lord scattered them from there all over the earth, and they stopped building a city. That's why it's called Babel, because the Lord confused the language of the whole world, and therefore the Lord scattered them over the face of the earth. Really doesn't make much sense. I mean, we could tell the story like crazy, but we can't say why. And in this situation here, did it also increase the hatred? I mean, did God wanted that much diversity in this that He wanted to increase hatred among His fellow kids? Sometimes the Bible confuses the living crap out of me. This confuses me because I don't understand humans' interpretations of this. We keep looking currently in our time that we point to one big guy and he's the start of everything. No, we already had the damn stuff going through ourselves right now as it is. We've got a lot of anger and hatred toward each other and our differences left and right. If we're going to be blaming God, this is one way of blaming God because He caused Babel, and therefore, in that particular sense of logic, He created all this diversity that we have right now that we can't stand it in among ourselves. So I never quite understand that particular story in there. It's like it increases diversity even before we even realized we actually had diversity. Till you want to go through the Exodus, and then you actually see how diversity works, where one side is more over people than the other. And we have that mentality to this day. We've had it in the ancient texts, and we have it up today. I'm not finding the gas bag, number 45, the cause of it. No, he's just a physical manifestation we put to it. It's still inside ourselves. We still don't like people. Even as a so-called Christians, we don't act very Christ-like. We don't. We call ourselves Christians and we think we are entitled to anything and everything. We're not. We're screwed up human beings that just don't know our asses on a hot rock. I'm muting Morning Joe this morning because I don't want to deal with it this morning. I don't. I keep thinking that God's got it in for us, but maybe He doesn't. See, humanity's got it in for each other. If we're going to be having college presidents who can't get off their dead asses to figure shit out, and I know students are going to be in the same issues, but us adults, as we're growing up, we're still having the same issues, and we still point the finger at each other, blaming everyone else for their own woes and troubles. This is what's happening. Do I get it? Do I understand it? Nope. Do I want it? Nope. See, I'm not blaming Trump for entirely humanity's stupidity. We've had it ingrained into us for a hell of a long while. But the thing is, it's how we act and react to it. That's the thing. How we act and react. I know there's people I don't like. Not because just the way they physically or in any other way they are. It's what they've done. And sometimes I have to keep looking beyond that. It's hard. It's hard to look at as a human being, as another fellow human being, and try to have some kind of compassion, especially when we look at him and thinking, or hearing about him, or something about him that tracks our negativity towards him, thinking, these guys are full of crap, and I have to treat them as such. And I get this thing in the back of my throat right now, this weird ass taste on this. Not because of the coffee I'm drinking this morning, but because how I'm looking at this situation over here. It's been reported that we have a Speaker of the House of Representatives who wants to whitewash hatred by not showing faces of it, because we might show harm or do harm to those who are doing the crap, which kind of tells me that their actions and their words are full of it, because they support anger and hatred and everything else. So basically, I have no faith and trust in the GOP if they ever called themselves that again. I call them the Trumplicans. They have allowed their anger and hatred to spew out to everybody. Are they the source of it? No. They're the extension of it. I kept thinking that Trump would have been the chief cancer agent, but no, he's just another guy who keeps spreading the shit out. That's all he does is spread. The violent vitriol and everything else going on. But I'm supposed to deal with it? I go online on YouTube and I see the violent vitriol there. The algorithms are locked into the damn shit. I can't get past the damn anger. It's like I look at it and I'm wondering what the hell, why am I watching this stuff? Because I got algorithms locked onto it. I must continue to watch it and feed upon it because that's the system. And this is nuts. Do I get it? Nope, I don't get it. It's not. It's not isolated. It's all over the place. We decry. We're stating to the world, no, we don't want this anywhere. How dare you? We don't pay attention to it. We still do it. A cop handcuff tases a man who's giving no resistance. It doesn't matter because he's doing it out of racism, or she is. They can do it because they got the power and authority to do so. For whatever reason, it's the anger built in. It's the racism built in. Can't get rid of it. You can try all sorts of stuff, but you just can't get rid of the shit. How the hell are we supposed to be able to deal with ourselves? How are we supposed to be looking at ourselves with this hypocritical look? Every time you keep going into church, you're always trying to show yourself to be holier than thou. God knows better. God knows better. Sometimes I wondered why the Tower of Babel happened. I know he loves variety, but this divisiveness, going after everybody else, being cruel and unusual. Would it have been better if Adam and Eve never bothered to bit the apple and just lived in paradise? And if they actually did have kids, would our life would have been different? How would our life would have been if the apple wasn't even touched? And my question is, what the hell was the tree doing there in the first place? You're gonna tempt him, but tell him not to stay. Tell him not to go there. I mean, you want to keep him innocent and pristine and pure, but you really want to give him the lessons of life. And that's the one thing I'm still puzzled about a little bit, but I'm trying to get a handle on this one. In order to see his children grow, dealing with life on life's terms, life was just beginning for us, according to the text. The texts were telling us that these things were happening, and we didn't pay attention to it. Why could we? Why should we? Were these the only two people recorded, or were there others? Were there others that were created? And if they were, did they actually come out of Adam and Eve, I wonder? And if they did, why all this anger, hatred, and divisiveness? I don't get it. We can stick our noses back into holy texts left and right, but it's not going to give me the answer or the clarification at this point. I can go through a hell of a lot of people with different interpretations, but there's not a credible one. Except, read the Bible, read the Bible, read the Bible, read the Bible. It's not telling me what. Well, read the Bible anyway. It's not telling me. Well, you're just not looking at it. It's not reading it. You're not accepting it. No, I'm not accepting it. I got a challenge. You can't do that. It's against the rules. Whose rules? God's rules. Well, he didn't tell me the rules. He didn't shove it in my face and say, here are the things you're supposed to do, and here's the things you're not supposed to do. Next thing I know, everything else is going hell in a handbasket. It would have been nice to get a little understanding, try to comprehend what's going on. So I suppose we have to struggle. We have to survive. We have to look upon ourselves and ask questions that are going to be the hardest damn things. We have to question our faith. We have to question our loyalty. We have to question. It's not just language that changed. It's our own interpretations. It's everything we understand about life. It was not just languages. damn guru. I am not a guru at anything. The only thing I can tell you is I'm still trying to understand a lot of things happening in life. I'm still trying to understand. I go back through human history. I go back through human behavior. I go back through stuff. We constantly show, but we're supposed to be better because we have our values and we have our books and we have our teachings, and we're still screwing it up. We can have a Congress withhold people's nominations just because of biases. We can deny actions from humans as they are protesting or theoretically protesting while they're destroying things and hurting people at the same time. And they think they're innocent. But we have to cover and cower them up. Make sure that they're not hurt, even though they had caused harm. We have to keep showing on videos about even the innocent who hadn't done anything wrong still get tortured by other people who got the badges. It's bad enough when you have activity happening in one particular state, in one particular town that went national on this one, and even international. You break into an old lady's home. You terrorize the living crap out of her. Sometime later she has a heart attack or distress. But there's no accountability. No transparency, no responsibility. And people are still trying to ask why. And they don't know. A lot of anger and a lot of vitriol towards each other in different foreign lands for whatever reasons. People will migrate from one place to another place. Sometimes people consider each other cockroaches. I just wish my cockroaches can get the hell out of here. I'm talking about actual bugs. I still have to deal with these bastards on a constant basis. And yet, if you happen to look at humans as a bug situation, it's irritating as hell because now you got something to be angry and go crazy and squish and squash and poison and everything else. It gets to me too. It's getting to me where I can't even understand it half the time. Why I live in such a place like this. Not just a physical place, but in here too. Mentality. And the thing is, I look outside of my windows and I look at my neighbors when they're crossing by. I listen. I listen to what's going on outside. I listen to kids playing with each other, yelling and screaming at each other, crying at each other, or crying, period. But they're still playing with each other. It doesn't matter what skin color they got. I don't hear the racial taunts. And yet, for a long while, from the adults, I was hearing it. And they would use the words that other people are not allowed to use, otherwise it would be considered racism. But we're still showing it, aren't we? We also show that we're also against people with other religion. We have the anti-Semitism going on, don't we? Kind of sucks. Because we have to have that. You're this, you're that, you're wokeism, you're liberal, blah. Oh, no, no, no. You're Israeli, you're Palestinian, you're Middle Eastern, you're this, you're that. Blah. I always thought the First Amendment would guarantee, but it didn't exactly always. Because we allowed ourselves the freedom of speech to a point, and after that we thought it was just horrifying for what came out of our mouth. Only because we were echoing what was going on in here and in here. We human beings are hypocrites. We're walking, talking, hypocritical pieces of whatever we are. We say we're for law enforcement, but we're really for ego enforcement. Our will over everyone else's, our ego over everybody else, because that's how it is. We see it. And that's us being betrayed. I kept wondering if God ever wanted us. Do you wanted the ego out like crazy? Us to go after each other left and right? We try to make rules, regulations. We try to tell each other we don't need this crap. But what happens? We have this crap. We have it on a constant basis, and it sucks. Every morning, or most of the mornings, I would wake up and I'd listen to this damn shit. It's either on YouTube or on other media channels, usually doing the news. Showing the negative nature of ourselves. I don't know how the hell we're going to be doing with it. I don't know if there is a way to get past it. I don't know if there's any other way for us to live or survive without trying to kill each other in the process. I'm not even alive awake yet this morning. And yeah, I got to run into this kind of stuff. It's like being weighed down with more weights than I can deal with, mentally and spiritually at this point. Yesterday, I canceled out an appointment with my therapist because I was really feeling it. I couldn't talk to her about it. I even had a hard time trying to get an appointment changed through the regular routes in my insurance company. And I couldn't give them the information verification, so I hung up. I panicked. I panicked because I didn't know what the hell was going on in here, and definitely in here, but I couldn't get the words out. So how the hell was I supposed to be talking to my therapist about what the hell was going on? And if my therapist is watching this, I apologize to her on this one. I was having a nutties. I was having a roller coasters going on again. You get triggered one way or another, and then you cry your eyeballs out like crazy. I had put up Christmas decorations, which I'm going to be turning on. I forgot the other battery things over here. It's not radio controlled. That's the thing, isn't it? I'm looking at stuff like this and I'm asking myself, the hell am I doing? What am I doing to myself? Quite honestly, I don't even have an answer for that one. I really don't. Ooh. Okay, so that happened. Okay. So I do have that. Okay. So I just wasn't quite sure about that one. But yeah, I'm having a kind of a nutty day. So I guess I'll be doing another nutty video after this.